Welcome to Racing, Pacing, Chasing, and it's the pacing segment. I'm Rocky Butterworth, usually joined by Aaron Bain, but Aaron is on his way to Mildura tonight, hopefully to get a win on the board with his horse Alcatraz Lass. So I'll quickly go through the show tonight. Sponsored by the Prince Albert Hotel, of course, in Gawler. Been massive sponsors of us since inception, and Maddie Knight, one of our young up-and-comers, works there as well, and we're grateful for their sponsorship. Just on local harness racing news this week, we thank Gawler Racing Club as well, and look forward to getting out there once they start racing, which may be sooner than later. We've been hearing things with the new board that Gawler may be getting as many as 25 metres a year. If that happens, it'll be fantastic. From a point of view where my horse is stable, that'll be just down the road, but I think harness racing needs to get back to Gawler. The quicker the better, and there's a lot of trainers out that side of town, so it's pretty easy to get to, and nice big 900 metre track, so we look forward to getting out to Gawler soon. Of course, Aaron's dad Peter is the president of Gawler Club, so we hope they get nice strong fields, and the club becomes very, very successful in the Gawler region, which is already going very well with the Jockey Club and the Greyhounds. We've got the Inter-Dominion coming up in the next week or so. It's Australasia's premier event. Starts in New Zealand this time, and maybe only enough horses for 2 heats in both paces and trotters divisions of the Inter-Dominion, but that should make for better punting, I would have thought. If there's 2 heats of 12 both nights, there won't be so many odds-on favourites that we do get generally in the 3 heats of 9 or 10. These will be 2 strong 12-horse fields. Of course, the Perd and Rasmussen stable will be there in force. They'll have 5 of the top fancies in the series, but there'll be strong opposition around the place as well. And finally, in the news, everyone knows I like to take the credit for our guests who seem to find a winner after coming in on the show. John O'Connor in the last episode we had for the Thoroughbreds came in, and his horse won at $8 last time. We had Gary Searle on Gawler Cup meeting. Of course, Gary trained a winner out there as well. And we've had Ryan Rohorick on in the last couple of weeks, and Ryan has bounced back to form with 4 horses that he trained and drove on Monday afternoon, which is a fantastic effort. And of course, RPC take full credit for Ryan's change in form and getting back into the winners list in a big way. Want to go into our first section, 3 wide no cover. 3 wide no cover brought to us by MGA Insurance Brokers, Steve McInerney. Steve's about a 1-minute call to get him on board as a sponsor of these types of shows in racing and football, etc. So we thank Steve for seeing the way through to be a major sponsor for 3 wide no cover. I had a look on Monday afternoon at Globe Derby, and I thought in race 9, number 11, Alexander Greenwood, he had to settle second last. He drew wide, of course, in the second row, and went back with David Smith on board. He had no choice, and then came 3 wide on his own from the 900 metres, and he worked pretty hard. I think they were in a sub-30 quarter along the back, and he was out 3 wide and working to the death. He'd tired on his run. He'd had enough at the 120, but still kept on plugging away and got within a metre of the winner, who had kicked away. And I thought it was a terrific run. It was $14, I think, in the markets, but he's ready to win, and we'll have a look at the closing stage of that race right now.
She will tippy-toe the last 50 metres, I Want to Rock and Roll, but she's got a good lead. She's holding on by 6 metres. Alexander Greenwood can't catch it, nor can Go-Go Shikari. British General's getting into the clear, but he's not running on good enough. I Want to Rock and Roll, she is tippy-toeing, but she's going to hold on, I think. Oh, she's really walking. She fell in. I Want to Rock and Roll beat Alexander Greenwood, Go-Go Shikari, British General.
And of course, thanks to MGA Insurance Brokers for their support of 3 wide no cover. And now we move on to In the Money. In the Money is brought to us by the Gawler Harness Racing Club each and every week. Always on the lookout for horses to keep following. Again, this week we reckon we've found one. Globe Derby on Monday. We just spoke about Ryan having 4 winners on the day, and I narrowed it down. I thought his best victory and the most impressive was Better Vision. It had only been with Ryan since late September, so he's done a terrific job with it, and you'll find even more improvement over the next couple of weeks with this horse. Settled back in the field, came from 7 on the front row, went forward and then had to go back and settled 1 out, 2 back. Sprinted really sharply for this class of field and won by about 17 metres. And as I said, Ryan's only had the horse for about 5 or 6 weeks, and to get that sort of result, and the horse's form wasn't great when it came down from Queensland, so he's done a terrific job. And I say follow Better Vision with a lot of confidence going forward in the next 5 or 6 weeks. And we'll have a look at the vision of race 2 at Globe Derby on Monday.
Glenferrie Bunter here by 2 metres on Assassinator, now angling off and going around 3 wide. Better Vision with a turn of speed takes over running now and got clear by 4 metres on Glenferrie Bunter. 5 metres then to the Dabadong, Corey O'Donoghue. Black Warrior angles off, then we go back to Mac Cruiser and Assassinator at the tail. Up to the turn, Better Vision with a massive turn of speed is cleared by 13 metres on Glenferrie Bunter, trying hard in second. Then we go back to the Dabadong, back behind those Black Warrior, but Better Vision is clear and Better Vision bolts in. Second will be Glenferrie Bunter in front of the Dabadong, Black Warrior. Then we go back to Mac Cruiser, Corey O'Donoghue.
And that's our in the money for this week with Ryan to follow. And now we're on to Driver of the Week, thanks to the Kapunda Harness Racing Club. Driver of the Week this week was actually pretty hard to find. We didn't have the show last week with a little break after the Melbourne Cup Carnival. So I've gone back a couple of meetings and I've found young Corey Johnson. I've given him 3 votes for his drive on the Octagon. That night he came from barrier 7, he had to go back. He waited until he got 3 wide cover before he made his move, and he was too strong late that night. And Corey, to his credit, has got a really good habit of driving long shot winners, and this one was no exception, started at $66. So we've given 3 votes to Corey Johnson for a good patient drive on the Octagon to wait for cover and then come wide and win the race. 2 votes I've given to Danny Hill. This was on Monday afternoon, a winning drive on Indiana Dreaming. The horse has only got a very, very short sprint. Danny had to wait, and the horse doesn't like to rush off the mobile as well, so just let the horse come out under its own steam and be happy. Settled back, I think 1 out, 2 back, 1 out, 3 back, and caught the winner on the line. But I think if she'd gone 15-20 minutes earlier, metres earlier, the horse would have fought back and beaten Indiana Dreaming. So she's timed the run to perfection, and I'll give her the credit for that and give her 2 votes this week for the in the Driver of the Week section, and 1 vote again to Brodie Webster, who again a couple of weeks ago he had Grey Maverick, who drew the pole and probably knew that the Ides of March would head him off, but he hunted Grey Maverick out of the gate just to make sure that he could get the favourites back. And the horse settled pretty well for him. He's usually a puller, but he settled pretty well. Ides of March got tired at the top of the straight, and Grey Maverick was able to sprint on the inside and win. And I gave Brodie another vote, and he's driving pretty well at the moment, Brodie, so he gets the 1 vote for his drive on Grey Maverick. That's our Drive of the Week section. We finish up with the trial file. Aaron's not here, so I'm going to finish with 1 of his horses, and 1 that I own actually, called Eyes Down and Looking. We got it from New Zealand quite some time ago. I think it's had maybe at least 1 birthday since we've had it and haven't got it to the track. It's trialling pretty well, so for our viewers, without the bias involved of being Aaron and my horse, I think the horse is going very well, and we'll hopefully get a win or 2 pretty early in its preparation. So our trial file for this week is Eyes Down and Looking. So that's it for the pacing section this week. Sorry it was a solo effort, but Aaron, as I said, has gone off to Mildura. He'll be back next week to run the show as he usually does, and look forward to seeing you next week.